From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the daily news for June 5th, 2026. These are the stories we are covering at this hour. The U.S. House has passed a bill to aid Ukraine and impose new sanctions on Russia. The House passed legislation Thursday that would aid Ukraine and sanction key segments of the Russian economy, overriding objections from Republican leaders who warned the bill would undermine negotiations designed to achieve a comparable but stronger result. The legislation, sponsored by Representative Gregory Meeks, the Democrat from New York, seeks to cement U.S. assistance for Ukraine by providing more than $1 billion in security and reconstruction aid. It would make another $8 billion available for Ukraine's defense through loans. Turning to other news, President Trump falls back on Lee Greenwood performance after artists drop out of the Freedom 250 concert. President Donald Trump on Thursday announced that Lee Greenwood, singer of his old reliable rally entrance song, is performing at a June 24th rally after a chorus of artists slated to perform for his Great American State Fair event dropped out. "We don't want singers with no talent but big fees to put you to sleep. We've told them all to stay home. All we want is you, a few speakers, and the greatest music ever played, the same music you have listened to for years," Trump wrote on Truth Social with a bunch of capitalization errors. "We will have the fabulous Lee Greenwood introducing me with what has turned out to be one of the greatest hits of all time. God bless the USA," Trump wrote. Christopher Macchia will also perform, Trump said. "Not since the legendary Luciano Pavarotti has there been such a voice," he wrote. Trump canceled the Great American State Fair concert, which was supposed to take place on June 26th, after several artists dropped out, saying the concert had originally been billed to them as a nonpartisan event. ICE will no longer report deaths of recently released detainees, according to the Washington Post. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is nixing a significant reporting requirement amid uproar over the number of people who've died in federal detention this year, according to a Washington Post report. In a memo the agency issued on Thursday, Acting ICE Director David Venturella noted that it would no longer report detainee deaths that happened within 30 days of a person's release. Former President Joe Biden's administration had previously required the agency to report these deaths to scrutinize whether detainees were being released with serious medical conditions, according to Deborah Fleischaker, ICE's acting chief of staff at the time. ICE is not responsible when an individual passes away weeks after leaving their custody, DHS wrote in a social media post confirming the change. Turning to news from Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania men shot during the Trump rally in Butler sue the United States. The two men who were wounded in a shooting during then-presidential candidate Donald Trump's 2024 rally at the Butler Farm Showgrounds are suing the United States. James Copenhaver and David Dutch were shot during the attempted assassination of Trump on July 13th, 2024 in Butler County, Pennsylvania. Their attorneys filed federal lawsuits against the United States for their, quote, life-altering physical and emotional injuries, end quote, claiming those injuries were a direct result of negligence on the part of the United States Secret Service. Dutch was shot in the stomach while Copenhaver was shot twice. The complaint said the assassination attempt on President Trump's life was entirely preventable and was caused in whole or in part by the failures of the United States Secret Service in the days leading up to the event, as well as on the day of the assassination attempt. The families allege the lack of action by the Secret Service allowed the shooter, Thomas Crooks, who was seen acting erratically in the hours before the shooting, to climb onto the roof of the AGR building and fire 8 shots before being killed by a counter sniper. They said in the lawsuit that agents failed to secure the roof of the AGR building, had, quote, inadequate and improper lines of communication, end quote, with local and state agencies, failed to find and question Crooks, and failed to use drone technology that would have located Crooks more than 2 hours prior to the shooting. The plaintiff said when local law enforcement saw Crooks acting erratically and using a rangefinder, they shared an alert with a photo of him. But because of United States Secret Service policies and procedures, this information was not widely disseminated to all USSS personnel. That's the news for this hour. The PEP Radio YouTube channel has news updates throughout the day, every day. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, Roku, Alexa, and wherever you find streaming radio. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.